Dialog boxes and error messages are really helpful if you take time to understand them, but they can be worrying if you don't understand what they're telling you. So in this movie, I'm going to talk through a few of the error messages and dialog boxes you're likely to come across when opening files in After Effects. Now, if you open a legacy project from a previous version of After Effects, this is the type of message that you'll be faced with. It's telling me that this project must be converted from version 9.03 and Macintosh Intel project, and will open as an untitled project, and the original file will remain unchanged. And this happens if you open a project from a previous version of After Effects, or from a project saved on another platform. For example, if you open a Windows project on Mac, or a Mac project on Windows. So all I need to do with this is just click OK, and I don't need to worry about that. Now, the next message that's coming up is telling me that some layer dependencies are missing. And in this case, it's a text layer that has a dependency missing, and the font is missing. And it's telling me the name of the font and the font style, so I would then have to go and reinstall that font if I want access to that font within this project. And I'll show you how that translates when we open the project, so I'll click OK. It's also telling me now that I have 6 files missing since I last saved this project. So there's quite a few things wrong with this project. Normally you won't come across all these dialog boxes at once, but I just wanted to explain what all these things mean. So let's click OK with that as well, and I'll show you how to relocate missing files in a second. So here we have our project, and here are my missing files. And you'll see that missing files are represented by these color bars. Now, this is an animation of a little dog that I've done, but the files are missing, so all I can see are these color bars animating in the style of the dog. And you can see down here there are also thumbnails of the color bars. Now, if I need to relocate these, I can either right-click on them here and choose Reveal Source in Project, and that will reveal the source layers. Or, if I close that up, I can just come up to my project panel and type in missing into the search field, and it will find all of the missing items for me. It's then just a case of double-clicking on one of these and then relocating the file. So it's looking for Backfoot 01 image of ThugDog9AI. And here I have my ThugDog file, and you'll see that once it locates one of the layers, all the other 21 missing items are also found, and I can click OK and then see my file play back. And if we preview that, you'll see I now have my walking dog. Now I'm also going to relocate these files. Sometimes it will find all the files if they're in the same relative path, but if not, you may have to find these separately. You'll notice there are a few other files missing. So I'm going to double click on this one and just relocate that. So it tells you up here what the name of the file is. We want this one here. And you'll see that because they were in the same relative folder, it's found all of those files for me. So now if we go and remove missing from our search field, we can now open up the final comp and we can have a look at the missing fonts. Now you'll notice that if we scrub through here, you'll see that this font used is clearly not the right one for this design. And in fact, it's defaulted to using Helvetica, and that's because the sucker font that I used is missing. Now, if I select the text, it will tell me in the character panel what font I need to install. And if I go and install the sucker font, then open up my project again, everything will be okay. So there won't be any other problems. So you can also get alerts when you have things like missing effects. If you move from one machine to another and you haven't the same effects installed. And you would do the same thing here. You would see an indication of a missing effect in the effect control panel, and you would just go and reinstall it to make sure you didn't get those messages. Now, another thing that confuses people is the menus. Now, you'll notice that as I go through the menus, some items are greyed out. And basically, the reason that everything is greyed out in the layer menu is because we've actually got the project panel active. So if you're active in the project panel and you go to the layer menu, it will be completely greyed out. In order to make it active, you need to actually click on a layer, and you can see that the project panel is active because it's highlighted in orange. I need to actually click on a layer in the timeline, and you'll notice that now the timeline becomes active, and I have access to all the layer items that I would expect to have access to. So if you can't see what you're looking for highlighted correctly In these menus, just make sure that you have the correct items selected. In order to get access to most of the animation controls, I would need to have a keyframe selected. So that's a little bit about things that can trip you up when you're working in After Effects. There may be a few more which we'll go through in the following tutorials.